You're listening to the In the Mix podcast with Marvin Joles. Here's your host.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode. This is In the Mix, and if you listen to my previous podcast, not podcast episode, but the previous podcast, BB, I was fortunate enough to have our guest on before where we talked about marketing. And why did we talk about marketing? It's pretty much because if you turned on any type of social media stream and typed in asphalt or seal coating or paving, you would see his company's videos. And I'm really excited to have him back. We're here for another conversation. I was fortunate enough to recently visit and see the facility and just kind of see what they all have going on, see the branding and the marketing up close. Very impressive. We talked about having this conversation as we have become friends now over the last couple of years. And if you've been around, BB at all, you got a glimpse of Gerry. So Gerry, introduce yourself, the business, and where you're at, if you would, my friend.
Marvin, thanks for having me again, man. It's always great getting to see you in person and then shooting a video. So excited to just hang out today. So, my name is Gerry Sebby. I've been in the industry since I was a kid. I've been doing asphalt for a long time. I took some time off in my 20s, pursued a college education, went into corporate sales, worked for Verizon Wireless for a long time, and just felt very unfulfilled. So I went out like most entrepreneurs. I timed the market perfect. I started in a year, I don't know if you heard of it, it was called COVID. So that was perfect. While my first child also, my wife was pregnant. So never a better time to start a business, right? Yeah. So I started in 2020. I started putting the framework together of everything. And then I started officially my business in 2021. So I'm coming into my fourth season and I'm just very blessed, man. I love our market. I love our team. We're growing exponentially. Yeah. Very blessed. But that's a little bit about me, when I started the business, and then my company, Asphalt Authority, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
That's the ticket, right? Is COVID is when we were like, oh yeah, here we go. I feel like we did a big burst in COVID too, and it was mainly because I think we were reactive to like the anxiety of like this could be the worst thing ever, right? Because for us, we've been in business a while, so I really doubled down and focused on like, dude, we're gonna have to double our sales. We're gonna do all these things, just to maintain, hopefully get by. And to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. But so the repercussions were we had a boatload of work and had to figure out how to do it all, right? And it kind of changed our business model for the positive and whatnot. But I enjoy following what you guys do on Asphalt Authority and on your Instagram and whatnot, Facebook pages, TikTok, all that stuff. But you do a really good job as well of posting organic material, organic content about your life and whatnot, whether that's LinkedIn or Facebook, or Instagram, whatever that is. And I think that when people connect those two things, you're the owner of Asphalt Authority and you're also Gerry Sebby, you get this blend of like, you get to see what they do, you get to see their life, and it starts to give a little bit of glimpse of like the person running the business. And you don't always get that with businesses in our industry. I'm one of the guys that posts the business, I have the business pages, but I also post my business stuff to my personal page and my personal life to my personal page on Instagram and LinkedIn and everywhere. And it starts to get you to get to know somebody. And that's the goal really. If we're being candid about business, customers buy from people they know, like, and trust. I don't know if I went out with that mindset, but I know that that's what works and I just naturally do it. I think that's why there's been success. I think that's kind of why your stuff is successful, but it gives us a glimpse into what your life looks like. Could you give us a little bit more of a peek of just like what your average day looks like? Because we're recording this at 8 a.m. my time, at 7 your time, if I'm not mistaken. And what have you done so far? Like you pop your eyes open in bed, then what happens for Gerry Sebby for the day?
It's a great question. So there's a couple variables that get thrown into my day right now in my life. So one is a 13-month-old baby boy. The other one's a 2.5-year-old. So obviously it's the off season too. So the seasonal difference in my year kind of changes a little bit, my daily schedule. But there's a couple key things that always go into my day. First thing is my relationship with God. My non-negotiables are my devotion and prayer. That's something that I start the day off with, no matter what I'm doing. Once I wake up, that's my first thing of the day, and then I'm always going to the gym. I got to get my body right in order for me to go out and lead my people. That's just something that I wake up real early. I get done.
How early? How early?
During the season, it's about 5 a.m.
Okay.
So lift weights, and then I need to get to the shop before the guys get there. Our start time is 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So I get there a little early, hang out with the guys, go over the game plan, and then the guys are off for the day. And then I have my morning meetings with the rest of my ownership team, and then we're going over bids, estimates like that. Usually out of the office by about 2:30. I also do a lot of running, so I hit a run. And then after I'm done running, I'm picking up my boys at about 4 o'clock from daycare. And then me and my wife get to spend some time together, eat dinner, and then I'm working from home in my home office. And that's a day for me typically, man. Yeah, my big non-negotiables are my spiritual sense, my physical sense, and then just making sure I'm there for the guys in the morning, give a game plan. So
every few years, the construction industry comes together in a big way, and that event is ConExpo ConAg. ConExpo ConAg takes over Las Vegas this March, bringing contractors, manufacturers, and innovators from all around the world together. This is where you see the equipment, technology, and ideas that shape the future of construction. We're excited to be partnering with ConExpo ConAg to be part of that conversation. You can use code MARVIN20 to save 20% on your registration. And to learn more, you can head over to conexpoconag.com.
Were you able to do that all the way through building? Was that routine look the same? Or were you like a lot of guys are, where they're like running rampant right away? We're getting up, getting to the shop, getting going. Like, how did that look like, that progression? Like, because people are going to be in different aspects of how they do things for sure.
Yeah, man. This just started happening last year. My first two. Some of the things that like I started doing in order for that to make it happen was started delegating some of the things that I was doing throughout my day that would have never given me the opportunity to go out and do those type of things. So, for example, we added a full-time office admin, aka my wife, quit her job, and now she works full-time at Asphalt Authority. We were able to hire more employees, help with some labor, and then we hired an estimator salesperson who's been phenomenal, who's freed up a lot of bidding process for me. So
nice.
It came at a cost, Yeah. We're at a cost because, those are positions we're adding and things like that, payroll. But it's allowed me to have some freedom to make myself better. So I've worked on myself. The business has got better.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But not hiring those people is a cost as well, right? Like imagine if you were still trying to do all that. There wouldn't be time to come home, spend time with the wife, go to the gym, pick the kids up from daycare. Like there's a cost no matter what we do, which way we do it. So you said like the last year, your routine, you've been able to kind of keep how it has been versus the years before when you were building. What's been the biggest challenge this past year? Like what was like the biggest challenge, if you can remember what it would be? And it doesn't have to be on the Asphalt Authority side, like just in Gerry Sebby's life. What was the biggest challenge this past year?
Mine's going to be work related. We doubled our company's revenue again, year over year. And with that came a whole new personnel, whole new staff. If I'm looking at my second year and the amount of employees that I've been able to keep, there's just things happen, man. It's been a challenge. We've had newer people we've had to train up very quickly, like hyperspeed train.
Yep.
Because we're still doing all these jobs, but they got to be performing at a high level because, the quality's got to be there, efficiency's got to be there.
Yeah.
So that's been tough. And that we lost some people in the middle of our season last year. So we had to hire fast, adjust, pivot, and contain that level. I think I made a post about it. This is literally no joke. I think in July we did maybe 850,000 square feet in like 14 days of parking lots back to back to back to back with like two experienced guys, myself, and a whole bunch of new guys.
Dang, dude.
And it was crazy, man. Like
seal coating, crack filling, line striping.
Yeah, like all of it. You know, it was just massive parking lot effort. It was like what we've geared up for all season.
Yeah.
That everyone should have been dialed in by then. And
Yeah.
having people
Dang.
that had left or been fired, or it is what it is. So
Yeah.
that was really hard last year, but we made it through it. We had a great year. We're returning everyone who finished last season with us back this year.
Wow. Dang, dude. Really?
Great. Yep. So we're going to be starting. This interview we're doing today is on the 5th of March. So we're going to be returning back to work the 18th of March. And everyone's coming back. And we've hired 2 new guys as well. So we're really excited about it.
Employee turnover in our industry has been commonplace and a nonstop thing as long as this industry's been going, right? Like it just is. But there are ways to mitigate how that happens, right? And how much it is. I think we've had 1 year where we turned over a lot of guys. Other than that, we didn't. And I think I hate saying this, but COVID probably had a lot to do with that, because people were like, either, yeah, I got to work outside, I need this job, that job, do whatever. But there are ways where you do the best you can, you create a great culture, you create a place where people want to be for multiples of reasons, and you're kind of able to overcome it. So is that how you overcame what it was this last year with that type of growth? What do you think is the key to how you overcame the stress or the added stress of doubling and having to have an infrastructure that can support that?
It's a good question, man.
And how'd you know what to do? And that's the other question. How'd you know what to do?
Yeah, so 2 great questions. So I take a lot of pride in what I do, and I'm it's hard for me to sleep some nights thinking about making sure everyone's families are fed. And that's a big responsibility when you're the top of the triangle, of making sure there's enough work, making sure the jobs are getting done, making sure everything's getting paid out. So it's like I have this mentality that's like, it's going to get done no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I'm the last guy out there doing it myself. I don't care if there's 3 guys or we got 10 guys out there. The work's got to get done.
Yeah.
You have to do it. And it's just one of those things that, like, I love my guys. I care about them. Like, their family is my family. I say it all the time. Like, I'm not responsible for my wife, Leah, and my 2 boys, William and Harrison. Like, I'm responsible to feed a big, big family. And that comes with a lot of burden and a lot of stress. But also it's very fulfilling thing. So that's kind of the why I wake up every morning, and I have in my head, like, there's no option to failure. Like, we got to do this. We got to get through it. And,
so you got sheer will right now. Like that.
Yeah, man. I have a good friend who's a mentor of mine. And he always says, you have 100% success rate so far in life, Gerry, of making it till tomorrow. You know that? You've never failed once. You're going to make it till tomorrow, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about that. I'm like, today's rough, but don't worry. Yeah, man. Like, everyone here, like, you have 100% success rate of making it till tomorrow too. So it's like, you're going to get through it. So it's just like, what's your appetite for, how hard today is,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
second question you said?
Yeah, I asked how do you know what to do? Like, how do you know what to do?
It's instinctual, but it's also very methodical at the same time. Just trying to set up people in the right positions just to be successful. I think identifying those personality traits, identifying what people could be good at, identifying what they're bad at, keeping them out of those positions. It's a lot of scrambling. It's a lot of trial and error too. It's a lot of throwing spaghetti against the wall. You just got to try new things, man.
When you're investing in asphalt equipment, trust matters. KM International designs and builds seal coat units, infrared heaters, asphalt hot boxes, and other asphalt maintenance equipment for contractors, municipalities, and professionals across the industry. We run KM seal coat units because they're built tough, they perform in the field, and we trust the people behind the brand. Another big reason we stand behind KM, their equipment is made right here in the USA. Their mission says it best: innovative asphalt maintenance solutions. To learn more, visit kminternational.com, call 810-688-1234, or email sales@kminternational.com.
looking back, right? So we've got the past year and like the biggest challenge that you've had. I want to have you pinpoint something in your life. So, what would you think is the single hardest thing you've ever went through? Like, no matter what, from when you were born till now, what was the single hardest thing you've ever went through that's happened to you?
I would say it's something that I still struggle with. However, I'm very blessed to be in a position where I can say I'm free from this particular thing. But my family, on both sides of my family, it's almost hereditary. There's a lot of drug and alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Going back, great grandparents, grandparents, dad, both sides of the family. So I was kind of dealt a deck of cards that said that this is who I would be. This is the peak of what Gerry Sebby could be based off past generations. And that's something I've struggled with for, I would say, from 18 to late 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And just got really, really into drinking post college. Back, in college.
How old are you, Gerry?
I'm 34.
Okay.
Yep. So something where, in college, it's a social thing, it's a fun thing, it's a partying thing.
Yep.
And when you're doing it all the time, you're building those habits, but you're not thinking about it. And then what had happened was that translated that habit into something that when I had graduated college, it remained a huge part of my life to the point where it took over my life completely.
Wow.
So the point where I was 26, 27, just got married. I looked at my wedding photos and I could hardly recognize myself. I was extremely, out of shape, out of weight. I gained, I think, 80 pounds.
Dang, bro.
And
really?
I was a college athlete. I played college soccer. I was an All-American soccer player in high school. And like people that ran into me, that knew me when I was younger were like, dude, like, that's crazy, man. Like, what have you been up to? And, I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, this is not who I am. I'm not living up to who I think I can be. All these people have put a label on what they think that I could be.
Yep.
How I was living at that point or how my family members had lived in their lives. But I said enough is enough, man. I told my wife, I said, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm getting sober today. So 7.5 years later, I'm completely sober. God gave me my son, my firstborn son. He was born on my 5-year sobriety date.
Dang, really?
It's an absolute miracle. Since then, the mental clarity, just how I feel, man, like how I look, how I feel, my motivation levels completely changed. I was able to have 2 kids, have enough confidence to take care of myself that I can take care of others.
Yep.
Start 2 businesses, build a house, buy cars, feed other employees. And that's all because, I truly believe, God had put that on my heart and he had given me a second chance, man. So I'm here today by his grace. So,
man. So when you were like, hey, enough's enough. I know what the issue is. You and I have a similar story because I would imagine, I'm in Wisconsin here, southwest corner of Wisconsin. And with my last name, my family history and everything, I would imagine that a lot of people, when they see me, they're like, this is going to be a repeat. Right. And, thankfully I had I had the wherewithal to be like, yeah, they're probably going to think that. And like, I have to be above that. Right. Same thing. My 20s, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I want it, but I have no idea how to get there, what to do. And I kind of have that. I tell a lot of people that most of the time I outwork my ignorance. I just know like if I grind, I can get over the making the mistakes. Like I can just outwork the mistakes I'm making. And I always take the long way to do stuff, not knowing that it's the long way. It's just the very first solution I see. So I go that route. So we're similar in that regard. But I'm wondering like what did the trend look like? Like, what did that look like? You were working in the cellular communications field, I would imagine, when you were like, hey, I'm done. What happened? Like, you were like, hey, I'm done. I'm going to be sober. I'm choosing it right now and just not doing it again. How difficult was that to begin with? I'll start with that question. How difficult was that?
It was really hard because it's hard to change if you're in a negative environment, and certainly not saying anything bad about the company I worked for. It was the
Culture.
the environment, the culture that was going on. So it's a sales job, So your typical suit and tie sales job. It's a lot of stuff that I don't have to name is going on there. A lot of things like that. So I basically had to step out of that.
Okay.
But remain in it. So I alienated myself to very, very no outside of work activities, no outings, no smoke breaks, things like that. And it was really, really hard, man. But it was very empowering too, because as I started to chip away at myself, it started becoming very noticeable to people around.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Jerry's not drinking right now. It's just a fad or whatever. Oh, it's been a year. That's crazy. Jerry doesn't drink. Oh, it's been 2 years,
Yeah.
Jerry doesn't look the same. Jerry's can jump really high and run fast and strong now.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like a little bit of a chip on your shoulder mentality too, like kind of empowers you, when you're changing amongst people around you, haven't bought in or, don't see the vision like you do. But yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that.
One of the biggest challenges in concrete work is control. Control over quality, control over timing, and control over cost. Cementech designs and delivers volumetric concrete mixers that are some of the most accurate and technologically advanced in the industry. Their equipment gives contractors real control over schedule, budget, and concrete quality, allowing crews to mix exactly what they need when they need it, without the waste and limitations of traditional barrel mixers. I've been in the same industry circles as Cementech for years, and I've interviewed contractors who run their equipment every day. It works, it delivers. If you want to learn more or to find a dealer near you, head to cementtech.com.
For people who are like, nah, that ain't a problem. When other people are looking and they're like, dude, that's a problem. But then there's people like, nah, it ain't a problem. I promise you, it's not a problem. Like, what would be advice to them, do you think?
Man, you know what? I just feel like everyone has their own rock bottom.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, And the thing is, a lot of people who drink or abuse drugs and stuff, they look at it like from a very selfish standpoint where they're not hurting others because it's just them. But
yeah,
that type of addiction really does hurt everyone else around them. So until you maybe have someone you love in your life or something really bad happens, let's say you go to jail or rehab or whatever, until someone in your life who really loves you speaks to you, I don't think there is really a way of maybe that self-discovery in that moment. I think that, me and my wife had some deep conversations about it, and that's where it really clicked for me.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something that was happening that I was doing that was hurting myself. It was hurting the other people around me. And I think that's where those people who are struggling, that's where you have to see that and connect.
Yeah. It's hard when you're like, when you tell somebody, I love you, and they're like, oh, you're hurting me doing this. Right. And it's and that could be not just that, like, I'm divorced now, but my wife then would be like, it's business all the time. Like, you don't have any time for me. Like, this is hurting me. I'm like, well, this is for us though. And you get blind to it sometimes. You don't see it because you're not in their shoes. You're not looking at it. And I think there's this thing where I knew that, but I was justifying it. Right. And I think that's where you're like, yeah, some people are like, yeah, they know that things would be a lot better. They could do more and they want to, but they say, well, it's not hurting anybody. So you figure out a way to justify it. And I think you just end up, like you said, you have non-negotiables. You just got to tell yourself, at some point, you got to look at yourself and be like, dude, I have to do something. Like, I'm lying to myself. I have to do something. Right. And I did that a lot with therapy. I tell people, like, use BetterHelp now for therapy. For the longest time, I was like, dude, I don't need therapy. I don't need therapy. But deep down, I was like, dude, I'm not sorting this out correctly. Like, I know I'm not, or it would look like this would be the finished result. That'd be like if we line striped first and then seal coated and did things out of order. It's like, yeah, we're doing it and it kind of looks like something, but that's not really what it's supposed to be. So you learn a lot through a lot of those processes. in the grand scheme of life, like, what has it taught you? What has life taught you up to this point? You're 34. I'm going to guess you're way under halfway if you live a nice full life, that's kind of nice. Like, that's kind of a nice sentiment now that I think about it. Like, oh, dang, we're not even halfway there. We seem like we're doing okay.
Top of the hill yet.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Like, that's probably the most positive thing that I've said so far today, I guess. Granted, I'm a little bit in front of you. I will say that. I'm still in my 30s for a little bit longer, but But what has life taught you, man? Like, you've been able to have life experiences yourself. You're a great observationist. I know that. We've been together where you and I have looked at things, and I think I see the whole picture, and you'll see something a little bit different, and that'll give me some perspective. So I appreciate that, by the way. So that's kind of why I want to ask that question. Like, what has life taught you up to this point?
I think the biggest takeaway is you can achieve what you want through hard work. And a lot of people just see you in a certain moment, or they see someone that's successful and they're like, oh, must be nice. They always say like, oh, must be nice. But like, hard work will get you there. And it's one of those things that you may not see in the moment. You may not see it for years. But showing up every single day and working hard, you will get there. 100%. So life has taught me nothing's given, everything's earned. No one's going to save you. No one's going to put in the work for you. And even if you're given something, you can still mess that up.
Oh, dang.
I see it happen all the time. So, and when you're earning it, you're less likely to mess it up because you care more about it. So put in the work. Keep doing the stuff that sucks. I hate running. I just ran a 10-mile marathon on Saturday through hills. Just destroyed me. But I do it for discipline, and I do it because it makes me a stronger person.
Yeah.
I don't even really like lifting weights that much. But I mean, it's something that is a maintenance thing for me. It's like an oil change or tire rotation. It's like something I need for my life to make me drive smoothly out there. Like, that's how I look at it as. So that's the biggest thing life's taught me, man, is like, just work hard, put in the work.
Yeah.
Put in the work.
I blame Instagram. It maybe a little bit of Facebook, but mainly Instagram. People are looking for the Ozempic of a happy life, right? A happy, successful life. They're looking like, I don't want to do everything it takes. I just want that. I just want the end result. It's like, well, you can't just have it because you want it. It don't work like that, right? At least for the most part. And I get it. There's sometimes where people get lightning in a bottle or have unbelievable fortune or something like that. But for the most part, especially in our industry, like, you got to work at it to have it. People who have seen pictures of us together, you're a lot taller than I. You have a great frame, right? You're a bigger guy, not like bigger, but just a bigger guy. And all I can think was like your legs and your feet running through the hills and doing all your things. You're like, dude, shit, I hate this, which is funny to me. And then talking about lifting weights, which gives you that big frame to begin with. But yeah, I think that's it, dude. We're up earlier than what I get up today in order to get everything I need to get done to squeeze our podcast in today. And you just have to do it. Like, there's just, if you want it, you have to.
I just want, like for you example, you identified something online in our industry. No one made this content for you. No one made Blacktop Banter. No one made Wisco.
Yeah.
That was all hard work, man.
Yeah.
All hard work. You can't duplicate that. You can't buy that. You can't buy the friendships, the networking that you put in throughout the years. It's all earned, nothing given.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that leads me to kind of, as we get into closing a little bit, you got two kiddos. Your oldest one, he's on your shoulders quite a bit, I notice, right? Kind of getting a bird's eye view of the world. I've never been up that high, standing flat-footed, so I don't really know. But I think it's a great metaphor as well. I mean, that's kind of what you want to do for your children. You want to get to a certain height and then be able to show them what's beyond there, and hopefully they take it and do something with it, that great foundation. If you could teach something to your kids that you would like, if there's one thing you could teach them that would sink in and they would apply it to their life, what would it be? If there's one thing you could pass to them and you're like, hey, I want you to know this and understand it and apply it to your life, and you will. What would that be, you think? What would that lesson be?
As this industry grows, the logistics behind it are getting more complicated, not less. Bulk Source is a software platform built to simplify how producers, haulers, and buyers work together all through one integrated system. From quoting and dispatch to ticketing and payment, Bulk Source takes the moving parts that slow jobs down and brings them into one streamlined workflow. What matters to me is this. I personally know the owner, and I've watched him build Bulk Source over the years, specifically for the asphalt, aggregate, and concrete industries, not generic software trying to fit into construction later. If you want to see how it works, you can request a demo at bulksource.com or reach out directly at info@bulksource.com via email.
I think where I'm coming, like what I'm going to try to explain is like more of just like a stance on what the most important thing I want to teach my boys is, like from a masculinity standpoint, right? So it's not to be the most intimidating or the strongest or anything like that. It's not to be, a bulldozer or someone who's going to go out and take asphalt authority to this level or whatever. I want to teach them and model emotional strength and intelligence. Like, it's how strong are you when it's just going to hit the fan when it's going to hit the fan?
Yeah.
When are you going to be prepared for those moments in your life? When me and your mother pass away, are you going to be the man to lead the family or to lead the business? Or if something happens to their kids, let's say their kids get sick or they God forbid, lose a spouse or something.
Mm-hmm.
I want to prepare them on how they can best handle those situations. So that emotional strength, to me, is the most masculine thing about a man.
Yeah.
Is how they respond to those situations. So I want to model that and be their rock. So when they say, oh wow, dad's business went bankrupt, or grandma died, like they're looking at dad to see how I handle, like how am I handling adversity?
Yeah.
And how am I handling the storm of life?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of things I can teach them that go into that,
Yeah.
It's things like meditation, prayer, reflection, great gratitude, being kind, being loving, all little things in your life that are going to help you see the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's taking care of yourself. It's eating right. It's exercising ultimately. But that's the thing for me, man. I think about like if we could play the tape back and my kids could watch it, what am I doing right now to set them up for success? Because they're gonna. How are they gonna remember?
Yeah, I think you get a new sense of responsibility when that happens, and it makes you make hard choices. To be a little candid, having to file for divorce from somebody that you really love to create a better situation, but also be an example of having to make hard choices so that things get better. That's tough, bro. Like, that's tough. Like, there's this example that I wanted to be for Eli, and then that through a cooperative effort was wrecked on both sides, right? So it's like, okay, so this is what I have. Now what do I do with that in order to be able to show him this is how you choose to do what's right? Right? This is how you choose to be better and come out of the situation and do it better. And that's tough, dude, because that's like part of me still wants to while out, right? Like, and be satisfied for the moment. But I know that I'm 39. I know in 10 years, I'm going to want that feeling that you described for your children to have for you looking back on your life. I'm going to want him to have that, right? Not, dude, I get it. Even if it was like, Dad, I get it. It was tough. Like I know you dealt with tough stuff. So you did these things because it was tough. And I don't want that. I want to be like, yeah, you turned your foot in the sand and was like, nah, like we're going to be tough. I'm also going to be thoughtful. I'm going to be sentimental about these certain things. His mom and I have a great relationship. Like, I can't imagine a relationship being better between a couple people. He and my fiance, Nikki, who probably by the time this comes out in the air, probably won't be my fiance anymore. I imagine she'll be my wife by then. they have a good relationship. We all have a good relationship. It takes like being a humble man, being able to kind of have some foresight and see what is the best route, be a well-rounded man, right? Like we could be as successful as we want to be and the world be burning around us, it,
Yeah.
but that doesn't make sense. Like you want a happy life. Therefore you have to bounce some stuff back. And if that means me throttling back at Wiscote or throttling back BB, like I did in order to bring up the level so that this side is really well, that's what you end up having to do. And I think you're hitting the nail on the head of a great thing to make sure your children understand, because the world is going to teach them the exact opposite of that for the most part, right?
Yeah.
They're going to say it's okay to do this, it's okay to do that, it's okay to do this, okay to do that, and then they end up just being part of the mold of what's going on, the hamster wheel. So I think that's great, man. And you being 34, how'd you learn that? How'd you learn like that's a great important thing to leave to your children? How'd you learn that? Observation?
I've just seen myself on how I responded earlier in my life at some of the hardest times, and I crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
I self-medicated. I would stew on things. I would be extremely anxious to the point where I was sick. I couldn't sleep. And I just knew when I was taking inventory of my life on what are the things I improved on, outwardly things like maybe my career got better, my business was successful, or I, started to eat better or look better or train better. But when I was taking inventory, I said, man, my stress management, my anxiety is still how I internalize things when things go wrong, it's not a healthy thing. It's essentially ruining me from the inside out. So something I really started focusing on was when bad things started to happen, I identified them right away. That way I knew not to be stressful and anxious about it. I would pray about it. I would approach my wife about it. We'd talk through things. And again, just knowing that I've gotten through everything I've ever gone through, got a 100% success rate. And once you break it down like that, man, those problems aren't so big anymore.
Yeah.
So that was something I knew. I'm like, it's something that I'm sure all men struggle with, whether they want to admit it or not. I just know I have to work on that to show up better for my kids when they're older. So
sometimes this industry gives us more than a paycheck. It gives us the chance to give back. Dream On 3 creates custom sports dreams for children living with life-altering medical conditions. Moments that give families hope, joy, and memories that last a lifetime. This isn't about attention or headlines. It's about showing up for kids and families during some of the hardest moments of their lives. We believe in the mission of Dream On 3, and we're proud to support and help raise awareness for the work they're doing. To learn more, visit dreamon3.org and follow them on Instagram at dream_on_3.
Isn't it something to look back, dude, and be like, I think about the last 5 years here at Wiscote, right? Our building, Kyla being here, fantastic. Our growth, what we've done. And I'm like, dude, I started doing that at like 33, 34. I was like, imagine if I would have known what I've known and shifted when I was 24, 23, right? So I'm just like, dang, dude. And I have to be okay with that, because I wouldn't have learned that if I wouldn't have walked the path that I walked. But
love that, because I have a whole thing on that too.
Me too. I'm like, where I'm at and what I'm doing is where I'm supposed to be and what I'm supposed to be doing, right? It's like, you have to be okay with that. Otherwise, you're going to get stressed out because your business don't look like so-and-so's. Yours don't look like so-and-so's. You don't look like this guy. You don't look like that. Dude, yours is supposed to be yours. You're learning it, so you're supposed to learn it. But I believe that I'm learning that because I got a young man who, dude, Eli is light years ahead of where I was, because he's been able to be plugged into my life and I've been able to speak to him. He's been able to witness things. Like, he's been at multiple different places with us at shows and listening to people who I may not listen to that are more successful or have more experience in life, but that's his path. That's what he's supposed to be walking. I think it's great because like I keep going back to the picture of you on the beach with your boy on your shoulders. And I'm like, dude, that's how it's supposed to be. Like, there's so much being said in that photo. Besides, like, there's so much being said. Like, we could do a whole podcast just on that one photo that you have with your boy on your shoulders. And it's like, that's kind of what I want to leave If I can live life that way and be able to look at him, I'm good. Like I'm good. I don't need any more stuff, bro. We can buy more stuff. I'm good. I'm good in that realm. I really don't like stuff, to be honest with you. I used to when I was little. When I was little. I guess when I was little. When I was younger, I used to like stuff. And now I kind of have a love-hate relationship with stuff, right? But I'm kind of want to know, like, when you look to the future, what does that look like? What is in your future, Gerry? It could be immediate, or it could be long term. Like, what's in your future? More of the same is okay if you love it right now, right? Like that's fine too. But what does that look like?
Honestly, it's more of the same. A lot more. So we're essentially a startup still. You know what I'm saying? We're a newer company. We've had a lot of success very quickly, but I have kind of a strategic business model that how we've been able to grow so fast. It's very aggressive.
Uh-huh.
And when you do a lot of volume, you give up some things, particularly margins and things like that. So future for me looks like the brand being more established, having more market share, allowing us to have a bigger funnel, allowing us to bid more less competitive jobs, higher margin jobs, ultimately giving us more financial stability and less off-season roller coasters. So for me, that's not necessarily more work. It's maybe the same or less while making more money.
Okay. Efficiency.
So that's what I like to be from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
So
what's that gonna do for your life, for Gerry's life? Like that for me, I get that our businesses are a huge part of our life. I know that. I'm not a fool. But we also are human as well. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so me and my wife talk about this all the time. What our plans are for our kids. We don't know if we're going to do Christian school. We don't know if we're going to do homeschool. We don't know if private school. We don't know if we're going to do public school. But we know one thing. We looked at each other a few weeks ago and said, we're in this crazy business to enjoy the seasonality of our business. Yes. And how great it would be to be able to spend winters on 2 to 3 month vacation with our family. What percentage of Americans get to live a life like that with their kids until they're 18, until they decide to go into adulthood? Maybe 0.001%. You know, that's just unreal. So a situation where we really want to take advantage of something like that. So we're praying about it, talking through it. But that's what that would allow for my life. It would give us that more freedom, stability. It would give us the peace of mind of being able to do things for ourselves selfishly. But ultimately, if the business gets to that point too, we can really start changing our employees' lives. For me, is a big thing. There's things that I have put on vision boards of being able to give all of my guys a take-home truck, being able to give them vacations and being able to profit share in the future. Just a whole bunch of really cool stuff that doesn't happen overnight, and you have to make good money to do those type of things. But that's kind of what the future looks like for me, giving back more to the people at Asphalt Authority, but also building some really badass memories with my kids and my wife right now. So
yeah, I think I've done a good job of like 1 week Eli and I will be on a Lambo taking some pictures a little bit, and then we come back here and he's got to drive the busted ass Jeep, down to the lot and back. And I'm like, bro, that's gonna be your first vehicle. I think we do a really good job of that. I think Elizabeth went with me to Guatemala on a mission trip last year, and then we come back here, right? And all of a sudden she realizes like this house that was kind of an average house is a pretty spectacular place to live, right? So I think being able to do those types of things is great. I think making them work and be in the business and say, Eli knows that if we don't come here and do what we do every summer, spring and fall, the rest of it doesn't exist. And he realizes like we're pretty fortunate, right, to be able to do what we do. I got a question that's not on the list. Sorry, bro. I'm going to hit you with blindsided one. What is it like having Leah, and how does she counter you, like your personality and your trait? Like, how do you guys work together? What is that like? What is she for you? That's it. That's where I'm leaving it.
She's my rock, man. She's phenomenal at what she does, first and foremost. So Leah's very talented. She's a master's degree. She's a marriage and family therapist from Indiana University. She's very smart, very good social skills, very good at talking to people. So number one, she's the best person to answer our phone, whether that's an escalation, a first time customer calling, or dealing with our employees' situations. So she's the HR face of the business. She's the person that has to put up with me, at the same time too. So Leah's my rock. She's great. She's phenomenal. And she has her strengths and weaknesses just like I do. So we share an office on purpose, which people are like, that's crazy. But you've seen it. We're a desk.
Yes, I've seen.
And we just work really well together. It's just something that we're lucky to
Did you know
each other.
that? Did you know like you guys would work together when you were like, hey, we should just work together? Like, did you know that? Or have you just been like, dude, this is a huge blessing. Like, this is great.
It's a great question. My ultimate goal was, yes, I wanted to bring her into the business. Absolutely. When it first started, I didn't think that was going to be a possibility. But once I saw it happen and we got our space, I definitely wanted to share an office. I feel like you can save a lot of phone calls, texts, emails by just blurting something out. So we just a lot of crap done together.
Cool.
And we've been dating and married and together for damn near half our lives. I mean, I was 19 years old, so 15 years now. So we just have a very unique relationship, and it's a lot of give and take, a lot of sacrifice, but I love working with her. It's great.
That's good. Yeah, it's good to have. You see that sometimes in this industry, right? Like you see husband and wife teams that work together, whether it's on the contracting side or whether it's in suppliers or distributors or manufacturers or whatever. You come to our shows, some of the conferences and stuff, there's a lot of couples that are husband and wife that are working together. And if not husband and wife, close to husband and wife. I think sometimes, dude, it just works. Like you find you have your person. They know you. They know what you need. They know how you're going to react. Sometimes that's great. Sometimes I've seen it where it's not so great. But I think the key, this is the key, and we're going to close with this. I think the key is if you are self-aware, right? If you do meditation, if you do self-reflection and you're self-aware, it allows you to understand who you are, your triggers, what you need to work on. You work on that. You become who you're supposed to become, to where when you see how they are, where things that would have triggered the old you before that or whatever, you're able to move fluidly, understand how that works, and then create a great atmosphere and situation where everything works. Like, I understand machismo and being macho and whatever and being masculine, but there's also a great part of being soft, being understanding how things go, that allows things to be more productive. People don't understand that. They think that, like you said earlier, there's a bulldozer. No, dude, I don't want to be a bulldozer. I'd rather be an excavator working around all the marks where we can see where we did Digger's Hotline and moving just so subtly before you start wrecking stuff by just mashing everything over, right? So I think that's a great analogy. And I knew that. I knew the answer to the question already, pretty much, of you and Leah when I seen you guys' desks together. And I'll let everybody know, candidly, your guys' desks face each other as well, right? So, there's something to be said for that. I'm just saying, I noticed the subtle things, my friend. All right. So, dude, thanks so much for being candid with us. Also, thanks for allowing me to come in and see what goes on at Asphalt Authority there. I know I pop up randomly and just like, hey, I'm here. And then I'm like, unplug everything from your life. Show me around. But I really thank you for doing that. And we've been fortunate enough to spend a lot of time together. I wish we spent more together actually over the time, but thanks for sharing with us, man. I think it's really important. You're a great example of how to do this right in the industry, not just the business side, but life side as well. And dude, we really appreciate you, to be honest with you.
I really appreciate our friendship. Appreciate the platform and the opportunity to share some stuff. I feel the same way about you, bro. It's all right back at you, man. So.
Where can we follow you at, my friend?
Sure. So I'm on like Facebook and Instagram. Personally, shoot me a message. It's Gery. My last name's Sebby, Sebby. And my company, obviously, Asphalt Authority. You can just type that in. You'll find that. We're on like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all those good things. LinkedIn.
Yeah, top 10 tastiest videos montage for marketing in the industry, in my opinion. But but I enjoy all you guys' content. Please tell the family I said hi, and God bless, and we really appreciate you. So for myself here in Wisconsin, where it's gray and rainy still, I really appreciate you joining us. And for Gerry in Fort Wayne area, we appreciate you joining us. And as always, stay in the mix. Peace.